What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today we are talking about the final book in the Star Wars Aftermath trilogy, Empire's End by Chuck Wendig. So the first book in this trilogy, Aftermath, was like a complete hot mess. It was a total struggle to get through. I was very hesitant to continue on with the series, but I did anyway. Life Debt was amazing. I absolutely loved that book. It still had its issues. There was still some like hot mess, like things lingering on in that book, but it was just so much better. And then we get to Empire's End, and oh my. It's not as bad as Aftermath in my opinion, but it isn't as good as Life Debt. It kind of just faltered again, and I feel like that's because this book really is about the war. It's about like the final battle on Jakku between the Empire and the burgeoning New Republic. This book is trying to tie together some ends. It's trying to like put us into position for where we're going to be going as we approach The Force Awakens, but it just didn't really feel satisfying. There are so many threads and there are so many things going on that things didn't matter too much, or things didn't feel as satisfying as maybe they should have been. There are so many characters and there were so many things going on that it was hard to focus on everything. So like as ends were being tied up, it just didn't really feel that way. Whereas when it comes to like the world building and it comes to like the plot points, that stuff was interesting because there is a lot going on. There's a lot going on with Jakku, which we'll talk about in my video later on this week. There's a lot going on with how the Empire ends and what happens to the Empire after this battle and like what happens to its leadership and all of that kind of stuff. That was interesting, but this book is too long and there are too many stories going on here to where it just didn't feel satisfying. It still felt all over the place. This one was a lot more boring than Life Debt was, and it was just so disappointing because I felt like this series was like on an upward trajectory, but instead it went up and then it kind of faltered towards the end there, which is just very disappointing. Overall though, it's not a bad book. I am giving this book a C- because it is better. It is still good and it does have some great information in it, but the enjoyment level is just like a lot lower down, and I really wish I was more connected to these characters so that I could just feel it more when we got like those big moments for them and like when their storylines were tied up, because at this point I still didn't really care about our new characters. I was still really only looking forward to characters that we already knew or learning things that were going to make sense later. Like I just didn't feel invested with these characters and what was going on right now, which is a real shame because I feel like Nora and Sinjir and Snaps and all of them are very interesting characters and have really cool stories, but unfortunately it just wasn't showcased the way that I feel it should have been. So like I said, overall a C- for this book. I would actually recommend this series. I would say if you're going to read anything from it, definitely read Life Debt because there is a lot of stuff in there, but Empire's End does have some good things too. There are some good things to glean out of here, so I would recommend this series as a whole. I would still say skip Aftermath. I still don't think you need it because I read it and I still didn't feel invested in these characters, and that's where they all get introduced. So overall, Life Debt is still the best one. Empire's End, not too bad. It's an interesting end to the story, but I just really wish it could have felt more satisfying. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you can talk books with me every week. That is everything I got for you today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!